I got this ring behind my head. I'm trying to get lighting right. I don't know why my lighting is just bunkers sometimes. But anyway, um, what's happening with you people, man? As for you mind here, I'm just kind of going along with it. I've been kind of fighting this week. Sweetheart, you're not by yourself. I got some things going on with this. Um, I've been kind of MIA this week, mostly on Facebook and what have you. Um, so you're not alone. Trust me. I just shout out to some people here. I know some of you guys show up week in, week out, and that's why I try not to complain about the things that's going on with me because I know some of my friends and family. I call you all my Facebook family. Have their own issues you're dealing with. Some of you have lupus. Some of you have um, multiple sclerosis. Some of you have chronic back pain, fasciitis. You name it. So I don't know, man. Things are just so crazy. So I try to keep my own little aches and pains to myself. Only time I give you guys heads up what I'm taking and what have you, because if I think it's going to affect my ability to enunciate um, and what have you, then I'll kind of tell you guys like I'm dealing with Flexreal or whatever. But how's everybody doing overall? I see you, baby girl. Big Papa's dealing with some pain too. Talk to half of my people on here. And it's so amazing because I started to do this show on on my medical side. I started to talk about some conditions that affect us as we get older. So I started to do that, but I chose not yet. But I'll mention it quickly when I talk a little bit about COVID. We turned in the corner on one thing, and the reason I wanted to mention it, now I'll do it when I do the whole COVID bit, um, is because we're starting to see decrease in numbers. But before I even go there, I'm gonna just say, this has been a trying week. I got a couple things going on. Just to give you guys a heads up, I haven't been ignoring you on Facebook, but for the last 2.5 years or so, I've been in an apartment trying to get my bearings in this new part of Florida that I'm in, and I think I'm ready to move on. So, with that being said, I've been spending a lot of time looking at different things, plus doing little stuff with the VA and so forth and so on, plus trying to get the business going. So they tease me. They say, my daughter say I work harder now when I don't have a job than I did when I have. And there's some truth to that saying. When I worked, I always was, and it seems that I was always trusted to be in a leadership position. And with that, I had a team working with me. I never said that they were working for me. And 9 out of 10 times, because I worked with them, um, strangers would come to the department and say, "That's the boss, and he's doing so and so and so." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, A, I like to keep my skills up, and B, the easiest way to motivate people is to leadership by example. So don't give anybody anything to do that you won't do yourself." That's always been my thing, and leadership by walking around. So I didn't believe in just sitting in an office. I would get around. I would walk through the department so I could keep my finger on the pulse of what was happening, not only in the department, but around the hospital as well, or clinic if I was there. And when I was executive director, I had a couple of county health centers that I was responsible for. And I had to make meetings, I had to do things with the bank and blah, 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 blah. So even though I'm working twice or 3 times as hard now, I think it's less stressful because I'm doing something that I enjoy doing, first of all. And secondly, I just feel like this is a bit of a calling for me, if you will, to just kind of break down some of these chaotic times that we're living in and help it make sense to you guys. So, with that being said, maybe I should have got me a little squeeze juice. With that being said, I'm going to say good evening and welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. As always, like I tell you guys, I am so freaking humbled that you choose to spend your Thursday nights with me. My name is Hank Batiste, and my show is called I Got Something to Say, so it must be true. This week, my Creole powers and the voices in my head are being lifted from what I call a fog. We're starting, in some ways, we're stuck in the same place, and in other ways, we're just kind of stuck where we were. Oops. Oh, I hope I didn't do that. Did I do that? Oh, Laura. So if you guys hear some bells and whistles, I forgot to change some things. What the hell? I think I got a poltergeist, man. It's messing with my first Facebook started acting up, then YouTube started acting up. So I don't know, folks. So I got a lot going on, but like I said, I'm humble because if I got a lot going on, I figure you guys got a lot going on. Because in addition to the normal day-to-day stresses you guys are dealing with. Let me try this. This might be a little bit better. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's been that kind of day, folks. If I'm dealing with the daily stresses plus what it takes to produce, direct, write, and do this show, I just could imagine what you guys are putting through. So for that, I say again, I'm truly humbled that you guys choose to spend your Thursday nights with me. As I was saying, the Creole powers in my head are being lifted from a fog. It seems like we're starting to slowly find our way out of some of the madness that's been going on and some of the predictions that my Creole powers told you about, even though they're coming to fruition. The fact that they're being exposed, I think it just tells us that we have a chance to eliminate some of them. And by that, I'm talking mostly about the things where I said Despicable Delusional Donnie would not just fade to black, that he would continue to be a thorn, not only in the Republican side, but in America's side as a whole. So I'm not going to dwell too much on it, but we got some good news yesterday. Just in case you didn't hear, the judge ruled that Facebook and Instagram could keep his behind off. They've ruled that they didn't do anything wrong by suspending his accounts, and they could leave him suspended. And this will be, I guess, revisited again in another 30 days or whatever. But for every 30 days where we're not getting 45 tweets and the nonsense that he does when he has any type of mass media in front of him, we're being spared. So because of that, the voices in my head are being lifted from the fog. I know you guys were looking for a breather after January the 20th, you thought we would get back and all we would have to deal with would be some COVID stuff. I just knew that Despicable Donnie and his delusional legend in his own mind would just not go away. So we're seeing some of that. Other thing, like I said, we're starting to turn the corner with COVID. And the reason I wanted to kind of bring up the autoimmune conditions, they're not diseases, they're conditions, pre-existing conditions, is because these are the people that may not be able to take a vaccination for whatever reason. As we saw with the Johnson & Johnson, and I was talking to a couple healthcare professionals, so this was just us spitballing, if you will, or us thinking outside of the box. Why did it just affect the women between the ages of 18 and 45 or what have you? And in my mind, those are the women that are in childbearing years. So if I'm thinking like this, hopefully the companies are thinking like this as well as they start to roll out vaccinations to kids 12 to 16, 12 to 17, or whatever the case may be. If those young ladies, and the reason I say the thing with clots, I'm wondering in my mind, and again, I have nothing to support this, no research, but this is me spitballing, and I bounced it off a couple of people's head, and we all were kind of thinking alike. Maybe those women had something to do with, I don't know, maybe not only being in childbearing years, but maybe they were taking some type of contraceptive, be it birth control or whatever. And maybe there's a correlation there. I'm a nerd. This is how my head works. Anytime I see an effect, I try to think about the pre-existing causes that led to said effect. So that, again, that's just me spitballing, nothing to support it. And I would guess that people in the CDC and what have you are thinking about this and investigating it, or have investigated before they release the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Good evening, folks. How y'all doing? This is crazy. This is May. I can't believe this is May already. You know, this weekend is Mother's Day. So this is going to be my chance to say to everybody out there who's a mother, who acts as a mother, whether you're the biological mother or whether you're taking care of your children and some other people's children. You know, I had my share of mothers. My mom was spectacular. I had church mamas, because I make jokes. Back in the day, before there was an internet, my mom already had a network. All of these ladies kept their eyes on me, and when I did something, the first thing they would do is they would call me, "Little Henry, come over here." Now, you know your mama, and if they call my mom by her first name, I had to be on my best behavior, because that means they had the phone number, probably on speed dial before there was a speed dial. They could work there. Yeah. So if you're old enough to know what that old black telephone with the rotary dial was like, they could yeah, they turned that joint so many times the numbers just started to disappear. There was a groove underneath where you dial. So to the ladies out there who are mothers, if you have children, if you're a mother, a grandmother, if you're an aunt, treat your nieces and nephew, I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to you. I know I'm not the only one. For me, it's always sad, because the last time I spoke to my mom was on Mother's Day of 1999. And when I spoke to her, I wrote a little piece that kind of flashed back, and it's kind of funny, because it was kind of a Paul Laurence Dunbar piece. It was kind of written in dialect. the way the ladies in the neighborhood used to talk. Now go on in there, boy. How your mama doing? Now you know better than that. You know you ain't supposed to be doing that. You better go up in there and get your lesson. Miss Baptiste wouldn't appreciate that. Your mama worked too hard for you to be out there acting a fool like you ain't got no. You give them a point. So I had those kind of mothers. Then I had the mothers in school as well. One is on here, Miss Condell, and then I had Miss Edna Moore. Miss Moore used to Baptiste this and Baptiste that. And I said, I know Miss Moore, I know. And then there was a Helen Hydell Curley. So, and then of course Miss Bush. Oh my God. So we have women that play the role of surrogate mother in our lives who help us to become who we're going to be later in life. My mom used to always tell me, she says, son, I see you come home with some of these books with words I can't pronounce, and it hurts my heart. I can't help you with your homework. But those people back there say that you could do it. So it's my expectation that you get it done. She said, I don't know what it is about education, but I know that the white man was willing to kill us to keep us from getting it. So you get as much of it as you can. So that's why I got a few pieces of paper other than just those that's on the wall. So again, if you touch somebody and you help to shape and mold somebody, you are in fact a mother to them, and they will never forget. So this is my opportunity to say from me to all of you, happy Mother's Day. See, I go off on a tangent, don't I? Anyway, moving along, I want to talk about a couple things. I want to talk about a little Corona. I want to talk about the differences between the Republicans and how they behave and the Democrats and how they behave. And then I also want to talk about hey, Rudy Giuliani. And if he's Rudy, then I guess Trump has to be Fat Albert. Hey. So, and I bring this up because in the last couple of weeks, we've heard of Giuliani going through some problems, legal problems. And I'm hoping, wishing, and praying that this is a precursor leading to Trump. In the last couple of days, I've been hearing about how Fat Albert kind of stuck it to Rudy and hasn't paid him. So suddenly Rudy is having problems paying his legal bills, or so he says. Anyway, tonight's show is called A Tale of Two Parties. And with that, I'm going to say welcome to the show again. I'm Hank Batiste. Let's omit the logic and get this done, right? Marvin is stuck in my head, folks. I just can't get that out of my head. Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, brother, brother. So if I could do anything, I would just tell the brothers to stop killing each other. So with that, let me go ahead and move on. Corona. We're starting to turn the corner with Corona. At one time, we were seeing as many as, I think the most I saw was 3,700 people dying in a day. I think that was the most that I could remember. Now that number has been basically cut to 1/5 of that. We're seeing kind of only, and this is crazy, when we start celebrating only 700 people dying in a day from the coronavirus or COVID. And notice they're calling it more COVID than the coronavirus. This thing, part of us, because of the vaccinations, we're starting to get this thing under control. That's a good thing. But as I said briefly in my introduction, some people have conditions that will not allow them to take this vaccination. They could have an autoimmunity disease that kind of attacks the body, and the doctor may be telling them. Some people I know with some diseases, conditions. I'm sorry, it's not a disease because it's not something that you catch. The difference between a disease and a condition. A condition you kind of acquire usually by way of genetics, something, and just to simplify it, diseases you can catch it, and I'm not going to say it the way I like a cold. Let's social colds and otherwise. So we're starting to turn the corner, and it's crazy that we would be celebrating only 700 people dying, but that's where we are now, and we're starting to clap our hands. Conversely, or in stark contrast, we look at what's happening in India. And I bring this up because as we're celebrating, someone else is experiencing total hell. They had, I think, close to 4,400 people died in one day. And this has been the norm over the last 5 days, 6 days. There has been 4,000 people a day dying in India. And unlike America, because their healthcare system isn't as sophisticated as ours is, they're seeing numbers that are, all you can say is God help them. So when you celebrate, remember to say a prayer for those that are not as fortunate as yourself. I say that because those of us that can get vaccinations, we should. I use myself sometime, but I try not to make myself the center of the show simply because, and here's something that I don't like about, and I'm not going to call it anymore game show, a talk show hosts and hostesses, but I don't like when somebody, no matter who they have on a show, it happened to me too. They were abducted by aliens. Oh, I was as well. They were, molested as a child. Yes, me too. So I try not to do that, but I'm going to use myself as a, for instance, for this. I worked in a hospital in healthcare for around 41 years. Okay. When we got to a point where they started giving out flu vaccinations, one year it made me ill. And from that point on, I said that I would never take the flu vaccine again. I bring that up only because with this, those people that cannot take the coronavirus needs all of us that can take the coronavirus or the COVID vaccine. They need us to take this vaccine so that we can give them herd immunity, so that we can build up enough antibodies so that it kind of osmotically translates to them, or transposes to them, or connects with them. So for that reason and that reason alone, I am getting the vaccination this time. And to add, because I'm a superhero, right? I'm going to take the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. A, because I'm not female. B, because I'm not between the ages of 18 and 40, 45, 46. The other thing I want to tell you about the coronavirus right now, those people that are 50% of those that are being hospitalized and dying are not people my age. They're people my granddaughter's age. They're between the ages of 18 and 30, 35. That's 50% of the people that's being hospitalized and dying with corona now. So that's a small segment of our population. So you got these people under here, and you got all these people over here. 15 or 18 to let's say 36, make it a nice even number. From 37 up to 100, there's about 85 to 90% of those people that have been vaccinated already, especially those 60 and older. So they're not the ones who are dying the greatest numbers. They're not the ones who are being affected in the greatest number by this COVID virus anymore. It's the 18 to 35. And this is the age where you feel like you're really a superhero. When I was 18, I brag about bullets used to bounce off my check and go across the room. And I said when I was 25, bullets were bouncing, they would hit the floor. When I was 30, I said, damn, them bullets hurt. When I was 35, I was dodging them damn bullets. Now that I'm over 45, man, you better not point no damn bullet at me. So, making light of the situation, if you have young people in your family, urge them to get this vaccine. They are not immune to this. They are not impervious to this. They are the ones who are being affected now. So now that it's open to people that age, between the ages of 18 and 35, urge them to get the vaccination. So those that can't get the vaccination will be protected. Okay? Okay. Enough about COVID. Moving right along. Tale of two parties. When I think about Joe Manchin and I think about Liz Cheney, I think about the stark contrast between the Republicans and Cheney and the Democrats and Manchin. I've been saying all along that the Democrats have a very small window. We say 2 years, but the truth of the matter is, after about 6 months, those U.S. representatives that are up for a re-election start hitting the campaign trail. Somewhere between 18 months to 20 months out. So we have them for a short period of time. We need to make sure that we get as much done as we can. Biden has been swinging for the fences. When you're a strikeout king, when you're a home run king, you have a high strikeout percentage because you're hitting the ball just right with enough power. If you miss the ball, strike. I said all of that to say this. Liz Cheney, even with her dad being a former vice president and having shot a couple people accidentally, she is being hounded by the Republicans because she will not drink the Kool-Aid that Biden didn't win. She's been trying with all her might to be a true Republican and telling other Republicans we need to take our party back from Trump. As a result, they're turning on her. In contrast, when we look at Joe Manchin, West Virginia, here's someone who has been basking in the spotlight simply because he knows that his 50th vote is needed to pass any legislation. On top of that, he's made it abundantly clear, perfectly clear, crystal clear that he will not do anything to do away with, eliminate the filibuster. Why is this important? The filibuster, by doing away with the filibuster, means that they can bring things to the floor in the Senate, and we can get that 50-50, 51 with Kamala Harris to get progressive. And when I use the term progressive, I don't mean it to the definition of being to the left of liberal. I mean any legislation that retakes America back from the archaic Jim Crow bullshit that Donald Trump did for the last 4 years with Mitch McConnell and his cohorts and his minions. If, in fact, as much as I deplore what they're doing, what the Republicans are doing to Cheney, I wish the Democrats was doing a little bit more of that, putting a little bit more pressure on Manchin. Now, the Republicans have gone a step further. They have gone to HUD district. Now, Wyoming is so small. Liz Cheney represents the state of Wyoming as its one delegate in the House of Representatives. They have gone to the state of Wyoming to mount opposition to have her removed. Not only that, but Kevin McCarthy, wants to be Speaker of the House. So if we don't do something while we have the numbers being the majority, 2022, right around the corner, folks, right around the corner. This is May. So the 2022 elections are in some cases 18 months away. Go figure. If we don't do something now, if we don't start to unite now and get some legislation passed, then what's going to happen is they're going to lose the majority in the House. They're going to lose the majority in the Senate. Manchin, who I think is a closet, he's not only a demagogue, I think he's a closet Republican. He's going to disappear in the obscurity. Right now, he just loves the limelight. You're never going to be president, so-and-so. So get with the program. Dems do the same thing that the Republicans are doing. Go to his district and start to mount a campaign to get him in line so that we can get some things done progressively. That's all I got to say about that. Hey, it's Fat Albert. I had to do that one because the whole time Trump was in office, he never buttoned his button. Like somehow him leaving his coat open is going to make his ass look less fat. Rudy, on the other hand, from being America's mayor, and I hated that term because America doesn't have a mayor, but supposedly what he did after 9/11 in the city of New York and for the state of New York, he was applauded. Then he sold his soul and went with Trump, knowing that Trump never pays his bills. The best thing that we can hope for right now with Giuliani is that he cannot pay off all of these lawyers. He cannot keep all of these lawyers on his payroll defending him, and someone urges him to do a plea deal. If that happens, he knows where all the bodies are buried as far as Trump is concerned. So, from being the number one Trump supporter and helping to spread the lie to being the number one person that the FBI and the AG of New York is looking for, and the US AG and everybody else. Hey, There's an old joke used to be on Fat Albert. He said, "You know, Rudy, you like you like school on Sunday." He said, "How's that? No class." So, folks, I'm kind of tripping tonight, but what's happening with this process is so important because we keep hearing of all the wrong that this man has done, and he's become the new Teflon Don, and everybody is afraid to go after him. This is our chance. Through Rudy, we can get some things done. As much as, and I don't dislike Republicans, I'm just not as conservative as they are. Through Rudy, we can at least put pressure on this knucklehead. I really like to see him and the family put into orange jumpsuits, since orange seems to be his color. We wouldn't be able to tell where the spray on tan ends and the jumpsuit begins. So with that, I'm gonna cut this slow. I'm gonna cut this short. I know you guys are tired. We're getting to a point here where we're starting to turn the corner, not just with COVID, but so many positive things are on the horizon for us, people. We see so many opportunities. Now, McConnell just said that his number one priority is opposing everything that Biden proposes. Read between the lines. That's code for, now, we had the Asians that were killed in Atlanta in a massage parlor. Since then, there has been a law passed against hate crimes towards Asians. We are constantly being the target of police, systematic racism, so on and on and on and on, that the one thing we were ready to hang our hat on, because we had this momentum, was the George Floyd bill. That was going to be the pivot to police reform. Now, Mitch McConnell has said that he's going to oppose anything that Biden proposes. This makes it even more important for Manchin to get in line so that we can get some things done. Otherwise, we're going to be headed back into the dark ages, and this time with a vengeance, because all of those things that Joe Biden, President Biden, had to do by way of executive order, they can merely be erased, easily be erased with a stroke of the pen by the next president. And if that president is this idiot, this Agent Orange, despicable, delusional Donnie, the Cheeto man, he's going to come back with an even greater vengeance. We've seen how he acts toward people who stands up to him. America stood up to him and told him, sit down, take a seat. You're no longer needed. You're fired. And as a result, he's been a thorn in the Republican Party side. So it's up to us to make sure that we do what we need to do statewide and put the heat on our federal elected officials to get something done. So if that means that they have to get Manchin in line or get him out and have somebody replace him, then that's what we have to do. There's no one person who's greater than the needs for all. So with that being said, folks, that I'm gonna give you by your leave. I'm a little aggravated because when I know what needs to be done and I don't feel like I can get people to get it done, or people are ambivalent or they're lack of days, it aggravates me. So we got to do something to do with this, what I call Republican sabotage. That's all I got for you tonight, folks. As always, I urge you to go to my YouTube, sign up. As I said before, if you look at my video, in the lower right-hand corner is subscribe. I'm asking you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, not subscribe to YouTube. Yeah, so you don't have to buy YouTube TV to subscribe to my channel. And in addition to that, you're gonna see some of my stuff on some of my stuff on Spotify. Yes, I'm still taking medication, folks, so I got a dry mouth and a thick tongue. So those folks and you're going to see some of it on iTunes as well. So wherever you are, you'll be able to get this knowledge from your man. It's always important. See you next week right here. St. Baptiste time. St. Baptiste place. Love. Peace. Like your man. Waves and hair grease. I'm out of here, folks. Y'all have a good evening. Hey. I'm gonna sing a song for you. Bill's gonna tell you